What's going on, High Top Nation? We are back once again with another early signing day signee interview. This time we are back with our guy Azel Banag. How you doing, man? It's been quite the journey for you. I was just taking a look into kind of your recruitment over the last couple of years, and man, you have had one heck of a journey.
Yes, sir. Definitely, definitely. I want to say thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, it's definitely been crazy. I was previously a Harvard commit. I ended up decommitting, and then during my senior season, it started to take off.
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit. So I was taking a look at kind of when the offers started to flow in and kind of the timeline of that stuff, and it looked like right around July. It's when Northwestern seemed to offer, and then as soon as they seemed to offer, it seemed like your P4 offers started rolling in. So
Yes, sir.
kind of talk to me a little bit about what that experience was like for you. Obviously you were having garnering a lot of like FCS attention and stuff like that. But what do you feel like was kind of like that switch, that flip that started garnering the P4 offers?
I feel like the main thing was just getting my film in front of those eyes. Like I feel like I could, I feel like that I could play even my junior year is just getting that film in front of the right people's eyes, and then finally, it reached the right people, and now I'm where I'm at now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we are stoked to have you. Let me tell you about that. So I just want to talk a little bit about your recruitment the last like month and a half or so. So, you took officials over to Georgia Tech, Wisconsin. That's currently where I'm sitting right now, and Duke. So tell me a little bit about like some of the differences that you notice between the various programs. Like what set Oregon aside from the Georgia Techs, the Wisconsins, the Dukes of the world?
So I think mostly is I love the community, the Oregon community. Like they really support their team. I love that. And then also there are a lot of people on that staff that have a lot of ball knowledge pretty much. Like they all played at well, most of them played at a high level. Like they really love the game. And that's what I'm excited for most, is getting as much knowledge as I can from them, building my game, develop, and then just compete with the best every practice, every day. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that defensive staff, well, we were talking to Xavier Larice a little earlier today, and we were talking about, kind of how the departure of Tosh Lupoy affected his recruitment, if at all. And I'm gonna kind of spin that question back to you. So obviously Tosh had taken the job at Cal. Did that affect your recruitment at all? Like, kind of how did that play into things as they boiled down at the end here?
I feel that no, sir, it didn't really affect it because I know what's in that program. Either way, like especially Coach Hamp being there, that's the main reason why I'm coming. I love Coach Hamp. He's a great coach, and that's why I'm looking forward to come.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing we get to see a lot as Duck fans is every Monday night after a big win, we get to see the Ducks versus them. I'm sure you've seen them all. We get a nice little inside peek as to kind of what that looks like and what game prep looks like and coach interaction and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about what your interaction with Dan Lanning has been like. I know Oregon fans, they see him and they see all the juice that happens in front of the camera. And I think a lot of people across the nation, they think, this is all just for the cameras. But can you speak a little bit about, how Dan Lanning is as a person?
Really, it was great meeting him. The first time I met him, it was right before the team meeting, so that was a little bit short. But when I went to go take my pictures, he came in, jumped in, and it was just great energy, like just excited, and it brightened the mood for sure. Just seeing him. Later that day, we talked about his shoe collection, his family. So it was like it was a real relationship. That's what I liked. It wasn't anything fake, and that's just what I loved.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another thing we were looking at here. So, once you hit campus, I'm assuming you'll be an early enrollee here, getting in the spring. I'm assuming here. So, what kind of position do you see yourself playing in the long term? So, you kind of got that mold where you can play at different, positions depending on what the schematics look like. Where do you see yourself fitting into this Oregon defense?
I feel myself fitting mostly at nickel. That's where I'm projected to play. Yes,
That
sir.
nickel spot. Yeah, absolutely, and that's a spot as you've seen if you watched Oregon ball over the last couple of years, a ton of production coming out of that nickel spot. So we're really excited to have that. Um, one thing I want to touch on a little bit is you mentioned Coach Hamp. With Tosh leaving, it sounds like Coach Hamp's going to step into that DC role. Can you talk to the fans a little bit about who Coach Hamp is? What's he about?
Yes, sir. So Coach Hamp, so he actually played with my dad back in college at South Carolina. So I've known him for a little while, and it's just from the story my dad tells. He's always like, he was a player coach. He was a player on the field, telling everybody else where to go, where to line up, and that's just what you want to hear from a player. If your coach does that, now just I want to do the same thing when I play. So it's just something to look up to.
Yeah, absolutely, and it seems like you hear nothing but praise from people
Right.
we've spoken to, they love the man, so hearing that come out of your mouth doesn't really surprise me at all. Um, Wrapping up here, and then you are gonna be an early enrollee in the spring, correct?
Yes, sir. In the spring. In the spring. Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome, can't wait. And then one more question, we were talking a little bit about, your recruitment was a little, chaotic, we'll call it, in terms of where the offers are coming from and such like that. Like, can you talk to me a little bit about what your last month was like? So when we're boiling down to early signing day, we're heading to Georgia Tech. Wisconsin was not all that long ago, Duke. And so, like, what does that look like from the player's perspective when you guys are getting ready to kind of put pen to paper at the end of the day?
I would say really it was demanding, especially because we were still in season. So it'd be those Fridays we would play, and then on the road that Saturday morning. So it was definitely demanding. But I feel like I created great relationships with all the coaches, the players. I'm just thankful to just have this opportunity to go those places, just go those to go those places, see all those new sites, the facilities, everything. But yeah, I feel like just visiting Oregon off of first, it just felt like home. It reminded me most of here.
Yeah, one thing Dan talks a lot about, we get to hear from the outsider is that connection, right? He talks about connection, whether it's between the coaches, the fans, the program, everything is all connected. Is that something you feel like when you step in that building, can you feel that connection? Do you feel, is there a little extra more of that than when you had to say another program? Is connection truly, one of those focal points as Dan always talks about?
I would say it's definitely a focal point. Definitely a focal point. Just walking into the practice, like everybody, it's not like it's just they're just out there. Like everybody's out there to really improve, learn, and I just love to see that.
Awesome, awesome. And then, while we're on the topic of connection here before we wrap up, as the smoke had kind of went Oregon's way in terms of your recruitment, have you had recruits currently committed to Oregon reach out to you, to, just encouraging you and just connecting with you even after you signed your letter this morning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had some recruits follow me, hit me up. It just, yep, it definitely. Like, I'm already building a relationship with some now, so it's just, it's great.
Man, well, I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us. I know obviously you've had a busy day here and, a dream come true, finally putting pen to paper and making that collegiate dream come true. So congratulations, man. I really, really am excited to get you on campus and kind of see what you can do.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Azel, you have a good one, man, and I look forward to talking in the future here.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. You as well.
All right.
All right.